Hi. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. I just want to talk about a certain topic. So obviously, if you can't tell, I am a part of the online sustainability and vegan community. I enjoy doing those practices. I make steps in my life to be more eco-friendly, to be more sustainable. I've gone vegan, and I notice this argument, per se, in this community a lot. I think it's probably best summed up in this really popular tweet that says, "When are we going to stop pretending it's regular people's fault the planet is dying because they won't go vegan or take 5-minute showers, and start actually blaming corporations that produce astronomical pollution and dump toxic waste directly into the mouths of great whales?" And I understand where this person is coming from, and my argument today is not that corporations should not be blamed or held accountable. I feel like this tweet is pointing the finger and using it as an excuse for regular people to do nothing. To say that it's corporations' fault for the reason that climate change is the way that it is and the environment is this damaged is true. That's completely factual, that corporations are more harmful than just individuals. However, a corporation, or just in general, other people doing the wrong thing is not an excuse for you as an individual to also do the wrong thing. Just because corporations produce tons of pollution, tons of plastic, lots of waste, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't bother trying to reduce your waste, or you shouldn't bother going vegan, because just other people doing bad things, it's not an excuse for you to do those same bad things, but just at a much smaller level. You know, if there's someone going around killing 100 people a day, like, that's horrific, and they're to be blamed for the murders of the world. But that doesn't mean that the guy going around killing one person a month shouldn't stop, because he should definitely stop too. It's always easier to point the blame elsewhere so that you can feel like you shouldn't take any responsibility because it's not your problem. Just because you're part of the problem in a much smaller way doesn't mean that you shouldn't try and help. She also goes on to say, and I think a follow-up tweet, that if you really want people to go vegan or take shorter showers or make any sort of sustainability personal steps, that we should be focusing our efforts on fighting the system of capitalism in order to make veganism more accessible. How am I supposed to fight the system of capitalism? Like, I have my critiques of capitalism, like, plenty of negative things to say about it, some positive things as well, but you know what's inaccessible? Fighting the system of capitalism. Going to your local grocery store and buying beans, rice, and vegetables is not inaccessible. I feel like it's turning it into a way to get out of having to do anything. Because, like, fighting the system of capitalism, well, how could any of us do that? That's way too big of a problem. Like, that's something for people in positions of power to deal with. And a similar tweet, actually, on this topic, that actually is from AOC, and in general, I like AOC. And Shell, the oil company, tweeted out, like, what are you willing to do to reduce your emissions? And she kind of clapped back at them and said, I'm willing to hold you accountable for lying about climate change for 30 years when you secretly knew the entire time that fossil fuel emissions would destroy our planet. And I kind of loved that because AOC is in government. She's a politician. She makes laws, and she is in a place where she's able to hold companies like Shell accountable. Hold negative reinforcement for companies that are producing massive amounts of pollution and toxic waste, and encourage companies through positive reinforcement to make switches to green, cleaner energy and make those moves. She can do that. I can't. Regular people can't. Most people are not in positions of power, be it in government or be it in a large corporation. She also followed up and said the audacity of Shell asking you what you're willing to do to reduce emissions. They're showing you right here how the suggestion that individual choices, not systems, are a main driver of climate change is a fossil fuel talking point. It is probably a talking point, and fossil fuel companies are interested in making it seem like it's the consumer's fault. But just all of this comes back down to what I said before of these are not good reasons for you to not go vegan, for you to not take a little bit shorter showers, to use less plastic, or whatever you can. Most people can do something. Even small changes. I've made tons of videos about small changes in your life, be it things that you change what you buy, even free changes that you can make in your life. Those are all options, and pointing the finger at someone else, I just don't like how it suggests that consumers are entirely off the hook, especially because corporations like, for example, Coca-Cola, I think they're the #1 biggest polluter in the world. I'm not totally sure on that. They're certainly at least in the top 3 because they're such a huge corporation. And one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why is because people are buying products that Coca-Cola makes. And like Nestle, awful, horrible giant corporation that contributes to a shitload of plastic pollution. You as an individual can not purchase products from that corporation. And it may seem small, but if there's ever an amazing example of how individual choices and actions of just regular people can make a difference and is worthwhile, is the dairy industry. People going vegan, or just people switching to non-dairy milk instead of traditional dairy milk, has had a gigantic impact on large dairy corporations. Some of these dairy corporations have had to close down. Plant-based milk sales are skyrocketing up, and dairy is on a huge decline and has been for a few years now, and it's not really looking great for them. And how did that happen? The choices of regular, everyday people. So to say that it's all up to the dairy producers to change what they're doing and stop polluting, they are much less likely to do it because that won't make them any more money. They'll only change if consumers change and stop buying their products, and then they either need to adapt to what consumers want, which is plant-based milk, or they're going to go out of business and stop making money. I think part of this is a natural aversion to change. People don't want to change their daily habits. They don't want to do anything that may inconvenience their routine. They just want a third party to take all of the blame and say, because they're doing the problem in a much worse way, I shouldn't even bother trying at all. And I don't know, there's that Gandhi quote, like, be the change you wish to see in the world. The only thing you can do is change your personal behavior. And even though it's not just your fault that the planet is dying, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do anything about it. You could just try to help. It feels good to help, even in a small way. Just do what you can. And if you're in a position of power, 1,000% do what you can to try and hold corporations accountable. But for most people, I really want to encourage making eco-friendly and sustainable choices wherever possible. And for a lot of people, it's more than you think. I guess I'll probably end this video by saying I have a playlist of a bunch of videos talking about sustainability and choices that you can make in your everyday life, the things that you're buying, what to choose, what to avoid, free changes that you can make in your life that are more sustainable. Hopefully you might take a few ideas from those. I didn't want this video to be too ranty or anything, but it's just a topic that I frequently see in this community, and I wanted to give my take on it. So, hope you enjoy listening, and thanks for watching.